It held back at first, and now it's coming in a little bit harder and a little bit more passionately. Alright, greetings to my viewers in Italy. I am back with another Måneskin reaction, this time to a highly requested song, Coraline, live at Sanremo 2022. Now, I was told that there was a live video of the performance with lyrics included. I hope I'm picking the right one here. So that's what I'll be reacting to today. Let me know in the comments if it is the right video clip. We'll see how it is, and then we'll get into what the song meaning might be. You know how it goes if you've been here for a while, but if you are new around here, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, just click the Linktree link down below in the description. Also in the description is a link to my Patreon. Check that out for bonus content and exclusive videos. Alright, Måneskin at Sanremo Music Festival 2022, Coraline lyrics with English translation. Again, I hope this is the correct clip, and let's check it out.
Dimmi la tua verità, Coraline, Coraline, 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 Coraline bella come il sole, guerriera dal cuore zelante, capelli come rose rosse, preziosi quei fili di rame, amore porta al Libano. Se senti campane cantare, vedrai Coraline che piange, che prende il dolore degli altri e poi lo porta dentro lei. E Coraline, Coraline, dimmi la tua verità. Coraline, Coraline, dimmi la tua verità. Coraline, Coraline, dimmi la tua verità. Coraline, Coraline, però lei sa la verità.
Okay, so this one is immediately quite different, tonally speaking, than some of the other songs I've heard by them. And I'm assuming this one is meant to be a ballad, right? It's supposed to be a bit of a sad song about this character, Coraline. So I like the way that it's kind of holding back a little bit. That's at least the way that it feels to me so far. In other words, it feels like there's more to come, and this is probably going to hit a bit harder and deeper, emotionally speaking, as the song goes on. But it's starting out held back a little bit. Things kind of toned down. It's easing into it. And I like when a song does that. We'll see how well it does it. But so far, it's an interesting beginning, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Non è per tutti andare avanti con il cuore che ha diviso in due metà. Freddo già, una bambina però sente come un peso e prima o poi si spezzerà e la gente dirà. Non vuole niente, non riesce neanche a uscire da una misera porta, ma un giorno...
Yeah, I can feel like a slow build up here. Okay, bringing some guitar in? Alright.
Detto a Coraline che può crescere, prendere le sue cose e poi partire, ma sente un mostro.
I'm liking where this is going.
Che le ricopre la strada di mine. Ho detto a Coraline che può crescere, prendere le sue cose e poi partire, ma Coraline.
Okay, I really like the way they did that. That was really, really smart. First, they brought the guitar in just by itself. That added a heavier tone, richer tone to the song, and then they brought in the drumming after that. It held back at first, and now it's coming in a little bit harder and a little bit more passionately. So far, I like the way that this song was structured. Cool stuff. Let's keep going. Real feeling of desperation in his voice. I like that. Classic rock vibes on the guitar there. Okay.
Sarò il fuoco ed il freddo, riparo d'inverno, sarò ciò che respiri, capirò cosa hai dentro e sarò l'acqua da bere, il significato del bene, sarò anche un soldato con la luce di sera e in cambio non chiedo niente, soltanto un sorriso, ogni tua piccola lacrima è oceano sopra il mio viso e in cambio
very talented vocalist.
solo un po' di tempo.
Oh, I love the way this is building. This is great. Okay, I just love the way the song builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. It's just a nonstop ascent. It just keeps getting heavier in the emotional sense, and in its own context, heavier instrumentally in its own way. I'm not saying like heavy by like the standards of the music I listen to, but within the context of the song, there's like a definite escalation that keeps happening, emotionally, instrumentally, and vocally too. There's a certain again desperation in his vocal approach, and I don't want to say grip, but there's a certain kind of emphasis, a kind of punctuation that he's using with his voice, a kind of wild little edge to his voice that is really doing wonders for the emotional sensibility of the song. It's really injecting a palpable feeling of sorrow mixed with, I'm going to use the word again, desperation, and just really raw emotion. I mean, that's the best way that I could put it. So I really think he's a talented vocalist. The vocals and the guitar are my two favorite parts of the song. Of course, the drumming is good in very subtle ways as well. But the biggest thing I'm a fan of is how the song has been put together and how everything has been arranged just so, with expertise and finesse, so that there's a continued feeling of escalation and just emotion that is amplified in increments. So that's how I feel so far about this. Let's continue.
Ogni parola è una ascia, un taglio sulla schiena, come una zattera che naviga in un fiume in piena, e forse il fiume è dentro di lei.
The river is inside her. Oh, solo? Okay. Oh, this is good.
Dimmi le tue verità, Coraline, Coraline, dimmi le tue verità, Coraline, Coraline.
Bringing it back to the softer tone there, okay. That's good too.
Coraline, dimmi le tue verità, Coraline, Coraline, Coraline bella come il sole. Ha perso il frutto del suo ventre, non ha conosciuto l'amore. Ha un padre che di padre ha niente, detto in città c'è un castello, con mura talmente potenti che se ci va a vivere dentro non potrà colpirti più niente, non potrà colpirti più niente.
Wow. This is a band that I think really deserves the success and attention they've been getting, because they're just, the talent is always on display every time that I check them out. Yeah, I mean, this was sort of like a classic rock feeling type of ballad mixed with just the richness, I think, of Italian music. I've said this many times in numerous reactions that I've done to Italian artists, but I really believe that the Italian language lends itself very well to singing. It's something that's always so pleasant to my ears, and it's something that I'm really glad that I've built this audience of, people over in Italy, you guys who like to watch these videos, because I want to explore more and more Italian music, regardless of genre. I think it's just really interesting, and there's a certain way that the emotion hits when a song is sung in a different language other than English for me. So I just think that's a nice little a little bonus on top of the fact that this is just really good musically. yeah, this was a really well put together song because just the way the instruments came in, first with the guitar, then with the drumming. But this was certainly like a very interesting journey and continued musical escalation. That's the best way that I can put it. And the guitar solo was really great as well. I love when a song can start out in such a soft, quiet place, and then by the end or the bridge of the song, it's just going crazy with a guitar solo, and there's like the instrumentals are much heavier than you could have predicted, and that's the type of song that this really is. So musically, I really thought that this was super on point, super well done. Just another well done song in a catalog of songs that by this band have already impressed me. So that's pretty much how I feel about the music. The performance was very good. And these guys seem like they're on the young side too. Like probably in like, I'm going to guess their late 20s. Let me know in the comments how old the respective members of this band are. But each one of them is super talented in their own way, and the passion is also on display, which is something I've given them credit for in the past. And that was very much the case in this live performance. So yeah, I really enjoyed this clip on top of the music. I want to give a thank you to whoever put this video out there with the English translation on the screen. That was really helpful. Of course, it's also in the description, which I like as well. And now we'll get into what the song meaning is. But before I read off the lyrics, there is a little statement here made in the description about the song. It says, well, the lyrics tell about the story of a young woman crushed down by society and by her own inner voice, continuously asking her not to eat and blinding her in. She cannot find the strength to react despite her virtual charming prince's attempts to help her. So she ends up pushing herself at the edge, surrounded by the virtual castle's powerful walls, and becomes invisible to the world. Okay. Tell me your truths, Coraline, Coraline, tell me your truths. Coraline is beautiful as sun, warrior with a zealous heart, hair like red roses, precious like copper wires. Love, bring them to me. If you hear bells sing, you will see Coraline crying. She takes others' pain, and then she carries it within her. But she knows the truth. It is not to everyone to move forward. With heart divided between two halves, it's already cold. She is a child, but she feels like a weight, and sooner or later it will break. People will say she's worth nothing. She can't even get out of a poor door. But one day, once she will succeed, and I told Coraline she can grow, take her things and then leave. But she feels like a monster holding her in a cage, who covers her road with mines. Coraline doesn't want to eat, no. Coraline would like to disappear, and Coraline cries. Coraline feels anxious. Coraline wants the sea, but she's scared by water, and maybe the sea is within her. And every word is an axe, a cut on the back, like a raft that's sailing in a raging river, and maybe the river is inside her. I will be the fire and the cold, winter shelter. I will be what you breathe. I will understand what's within you, and I'll be the water to drink, the meaning of good. I will also be a soldier, or the evening light, yet I ask for nothing back, just a smile. Each little tear of yours is an ocean on my face. Wow, that's a good line. I like that line. Each little tear of yours is an ocean on my face. I will be banner, shield, or your silver sword. Coraline is beautiful as sun. He lost the fruit of his womb. He has not known love, but a father who is nothing like a father. They told her there's a castle down in the city with such powerful walls that if you go to live inside, nothing will hit you no more. Nothing will hit you no more. Okay, so I think this is about multiple things. On one hand, I think Coraline is an example of how women are maybe treated by fame, whether that be the music industry, being a social media influencer, a model, whatever the case may be. I think that when you look at the way popular culture objectifies and commodifies the female body, women are particularly vulnerable whenever they're in the spotlight. And the info about the lyrics in the description mentions that her own inner voice is continuously asking her not to eat. So you've got women starving and punishing themselves because they're desperately trying to fit into the artificial beauty standards of society. And it also talks about a father that hit her, and so she ran away seeking a castle with impenetrable walls where she would feel safe. So maybe by diving into, this world of popularity where people, theoretically finally love and respect her, she can get away from this abusive, broken home that she comes from. The people that don't want her, the parents that were abusive to her. And a lot of people who, do get into some of these industries, they do come from very broken homes. So that could be what it's saying. So, yeah, I mean, in that context, how women are treated is just very degrading, and it must be a very alienating kind of feeling to make someone feel like they're not even human. They amount to nothing more than images and measurements in the eyes of those who want to profit off of them. My girlfriend and I were just talking about this the other day, how we see these actresses who start out looking healthy, and then in a later season of a TV show or in a particular movie, they look so skinny that they look sickly, they look anorexic. And it's like, who is telling them to do this, right? But I think it's more than just image and body weight. I think this is a song about a woman who's been victimized and preyed upon. And the fame and attention that she's gotten, instead of being, the salvation that she was seeking, instead it's a monster that's holding her in a cage, as the lyrics say. People say that she's not good enough. She doesn't have enough money. Again, this line here says, people will say she's worth nothing. She can't even get out of a poor door. So she's constantly being judged and scrutinized to the degree that it makes her feel depressed and worthless, less than human. And I think it's just an insane dichotomy when you think about it, like how we look at beautiful women. And we see them in a certain light, but really in their own personal lives, so often they're the ones living in darkness, and many of them are not healthy. Many of them don't think that they're beautiful because of the kind of toxic, degrading environment that they've been forced to engage with. And the people who look them up and down and only see how they can sell them. It's a really broken way of thinking, and the double standard that it places on beautiful women is devastating. And I think this also touches upon the irony that she really is a beautiful person, probably has a good soul, or at least started out that way. But because of the burdens and the expectations that society has placed upon her in the pursuit of beauty, it's just left her broken. It says, so many lyrics here. Well-written lyrics, by the way. Yeah, there's a lot that the song is saying. It says, Coraline as beautiful as the sun, warrior with a zealous heart, hair like red roses. But then it says, precious those copper wires, love bring them to me. If you hear bells sing, you will see Coraline crying. So it's like she's a puppet being strung up on wires. And when she seems the most beautiful, and, the beauty is so apparent on the surface to people on the outside looking in, and everything seems so great in a shallow sense, deep down she's crying, she's broken, and she's miserable. Sometimes a lot of pain goes on behind a friendly or beautiful smile, And I think the other person mentioned in this song is someone who legitimately loves her and is trying to save her. But it may be too late. Again, in the description, it talks about a virtual charming prince attempting to help her. So it kind of uses the fairy tale idea as pretty much a metaphor, right? Like the princess trapped in the castle. Usually there's some monster or dragon involved, and of course, the lyrics do mention a monster. And then there's the prince or knight that tries to save her. But the castle walls are too strong, and people can look up to her and see the image of her, but the real her and the real beauty she has on the inside is invisible to the world. So that's her dilemma, that's her burden, I'm not a parent, and I don't closely know anyone personally who has a young daughter, but I think one of the worst things that can be done to young women in today's society is to expose them to fame and attention from a young age. And that even applies to social media. That's fame, I guess, on a smaller level, but still, it has a damaging effect. I think girls need to be protected now more than ever because there's a whole world out there full of vultures and who really just want to sell them an idea of an image that they're supposed to represent with no regard for their health or happiness or well-being, only how they can generate profit for other people. And I think to expose women to that, it's just poisonous to the spirit. And I think when it comes to this issue, Western society has a lot of soul-searching to do. Because this is a problem that a lot of men don't face, although they deal with their own issues when it comes to popularity and images in a different way, But, how it affects women, I think, is so psychologically damaging. And on a larger scale, socially damaging, collectively. And there's not enough serious talk about it. And people in the music industry or Hollywood or on social media platforms, the push they're giving to make women chase after an image or an idea of an expected sexuality from a young age. It's just extremely toxic. And it's like, what are the options that a woman is supposed to expect for herself in today's world, today's society? Are you supposed to just be the woman that gets kicked around and abused? Or are you supposed to be the woman who gets fame and success, but at the expense of exploitation and, dehumanization? And this shows like both ends of the spectrum in the song. It talks about her coming from a home where she has a father who hits her. She seeks out this beautiful castle, but the beautiful castle is festering on the inside, and she needs to be saved from it ultimately. So it's it's chasing that fame, man. That it's not always good, and it doesn't always bring you happiness. And it's not empowering either. I'm tired of hearing about that. Like, look, it is empowering when a mature woman decides of her own accord how to define her image and her body and how to navigate her own fame and success. Nothing wrong with that. Totally support it. On the other hand, it's completely wrong and exploitative when industries, largely run by men, break down vulnerable young women and entrap them in this poisonous climate centered around how they're going to be marketed and how they're supposed to look. That's the difference. And, for some people it could be a nuance or a shade of gray, but it's a very important distinction. So I think Caroline is supposed to be a young woman here who's just very depressed and defeated and feeling trapped in a judgmental world that dehumanizes her to the point where she no longer feels like she's worth anything or her life is worth anything. She's just given up. And no matter how many people try and save her, the walls of her castle are too thick and she ultimately feels unseen. But yeah, it was well written. It had a lot to say. And if I'm right about what it says, then this is something that needs to be repeated often and loudly. And it's something very important and relevant. So, and musically, it was really good. It was cool. It was a good performance. This is quite a talented band. And I like how it just increased in energy and emotion and sound as the song went on. It slowly got bigger, and it started out in a very quiet, withdrawn kind of place musically. And then from there, it just got better and better, I think. So, very well done, put together song. Yeah, that's about it for this one. So I definitely want to react to more Måneskin. Put your requests in the comments below. Otherwise, check out my Patreon and join Tier 4 on there if you want to make a request to make sure that it gets a reaction right away. That's how you do it. Once again, that'll be down below in the description if you want to check it out. That's all for this one. Much more content on the way. Much love and respect to the nuclear family, and I will catch you all very soon.